everyone. Welcome to All About the W, your weekly deep dive into the WSL star stories and star performances. Let's break it all down. I'm Ash, and as always, I'm joined by Kai. Um, Today, we are here to discuss the best game, the only game, the game that matters, which was
Wow.
the Villa versus Spurs game in the WSL. 10 goals were scored. There was one very clear winner. It is Martin Ho time. Ho ball, very unfortunately named. Um, but
Oh, ball.
yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
I'm just, yeah, I'm
Making
happy.
shit up.
Yeah, no, it's a thing now. Hobart is here to stay. Yeah, we went to
Yeah.
and like all my Scandinavian peeps in the house, you should rejoice. The like in Spurs we have this Eric the Viking. We used to have this chant. We'd be like Eric the Viking, and I've been going like Spurs the Vikings, da, 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 the
That's so
whole
funny.
weekend.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so I was helping my partner move
Yeah.
on the day this happened on Sunday. Like, I didn't catch any of the games. And uh, I just constantly got messages from Ash saying, I love football. Oh no, wait, Villa are good now. They're good again. So I hate football. And then I love football. And then she was like, I love my life. And I was like, wait, are Spurs actually scoring that many goals? Because Spurs famously, like, don't finish their chances, at
Yeah.
least in the last few weeks. That's what has happened. But um, last weekend that was not the case because Aston Villa versus Spurs finished 3-7. Okay, I'm gonna get ready for this. Okay, Gobset scoring in the 10th minute, and then Hansen equalized in the 16th minute. Then England scored in the 19th minute. Scores a third goal for Spurs in the 27th minute, and then Jean Francois scores in the 68th minute, Tanberg in the 69th minute, and then Havana scores in the 72nd minute, and then Hansen scores a third goal for Villa in the 80th minute, and then finally, I think Tanberg gets a second goal in the 82nd minute, and Blackstad scores in the 85th minute. That is how that went. An absolute basketball match, I feel. Ash, clearly a game of no defending, just vibes and attack.
Yeah. I think like genuinely both sides gave up on defense like 15 minutes in. I think I tell you when I feel like both sides kind of gave up on defense, like legit gave up on defense. It was in that first Tanberg goal because it came in. So what happened was in the game, cause like Spurs went up early and they looked like they were kind of in cruise control, and then out of uh like opposite to the run of play, Hansen scored in the 16th minute
As she does.
as she does.
Yeah.
And uh, and I feel like Spurs responded really quickly because the England goal came like in the 19th minute, so within like 3 minutes. And I could see that Villa's heads were kind of like dropping after that. And then like because it was 3-1, then because of Holt, it felt like Villa have kind of stopped defending. They came back in the second half and tried again to defend a little bit, and that's when Jean Francois also scored in the 68th minute. But like Spurs followed that up with the Tanberg goal just a minute later, and I think that's when like the game just went to shit because Villa was just like, how many times can you score and then see your like goal not matter, uh
Yeah.
like within a minute, within 2 minutes, within 3 minutes.
I mean,
So
it's literally that, right? Like, Hansen scores in the 16th minute, and then like 3 minutes later, England scores.
yeah,
Jean Francois scores in the 68th minute, and then in the 69th minute, Tanberg scores,
yeah,
and then Hansen's third goal, which Villa's third goal, Hansen second, in the 80th minute, and then like 82nd minute, Tanberg scores. So like
yeah,
it's literally like
it was
literally
literally
from the
basketball.
center.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And like I think apart from Koga, everyone had kind of forgotten how to defend. Like even Cop had like she's generally pretty like solid, but even Cop had a few like out passing out from the back, stumbles, and Summonin like was like you could clearly see that Summonin is tired because she was
Hmm.
making a lot of like rookie mistakes that she doesn't generally make, where like she'll slip a little bit and all of that. And so I was like, we were like out to play. We were like, okay, fine, screw defense. We can outscore our opponent as Spurs do in
Wow.
life.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, that's true.
the thing is that I have been like a little. I had been angry with them previous to this because in the Chelsea game they had played this amazing first half and they could not score, and it hurt us because we can't seem to put together a 90 minutes of good performance. We can play one good
Yeah.
half, and so I was a little bit worried about this game. And so when we scored early, I was like, this is our day. I do not care what the scoreline says, we are winning this game,
Hmm.
because I think we just need that confidence to be like, you can put the ball in the back of the net. Once we get
Yeah.
that first goal, it's like we smell blood. And just can I just talk about this like Spurs team? It just does not let up. Like I do not know how God has given us these transfers, but we started with what I thought was like my dream. You know, I had always said, can we find a way to put Hamano, Holt, and Gobset in the same team? And
Yeah.
Martin Hole literally did that. He gave me my dream team. And at a time when like the previous time they had played, Hamano had not played well, and then like it looked like maybe they wouldn't start all three together or whatever. But they kept faith in that despite the lack of defensive ability combined.
Yeah.
Like they kept that formation, and I am so glad they did because they are. It's like a rabid pack coming at you together. Also, plus England. Let's not forget England. And
Yeah.
what I think made the difference though is not just these three players, but Blackstad. I thought Blackstad starting. Blackstad was exceptional. Not only did Blackstad get a goal, Blackstad also like most of the assisting was coming from Blackstad. A lot of the balls in, Blackstad could have got at least two more assists if like
Right.
England had been more, like what do you call it, more clinical. Like there were so many people who missed Blackstad's crosses in, but like just the combination of like Neildon and Blackstad both being attacking players on the flanks together, I think is just it's exceptional. Like the other side is a little bit more like I feel a little bad for Hamano because Gopset and Blackstad look a little bit better because this side of the pitch is better in terms of the players surrounding them. Whereas on the
Right.
other side, like Koga will supply Hamanos directly, but like Wick and Summonin are both not as progressive as players. They're
Yeah.
more there for
Hmm.
defensive purposes. So
Yeah.
I Hamano kind of has to do the work by herself, and I think that can be a little bit more tedious than the job that say Blackstad and Gopset have on the other side. But
Yeah.
putting all of that aside, oh my god, Olivia Holt. I like this is an exceptional this is a future superstar. Like
Yeah.
there is not a ball this person can't play. First touch is great. Like look at the technical ability in all these players. They're all techers. I think that's the difference. Like I don't think that Villa played badly. I just think that Spurs far and away are technically a better team. Like each of these players is a technically gifted player. They do the
Yeah.
basics really, really well. Um, and I think that was like I feel sorry for like Roebuck, for example, who had like a shaky start to begin with, passing out from the back and stuff, but then made
Yeah.
up for it with like two or three really good, like solid saves. I think uh, there was one that was like really impressive that was like in top corner that Roebuck managed to save. So Roebuck actually had a good game. Like Roebuck kept it down. Like you won't believe it. It could have been like 8 or 9. Roebuck is the one
Yeah.
who kept it down with like her saves. So I'm so happy to see this formation of like this version of Spurs.
Yeah, I'm really like I obviously not catch the match. I just saw the highlights, and I think yeah, this 4-4-2 sort of solves some of your issues, doesn't it? Like, especially in terms of having all these players together.
Yeah,
Uh,
we do have selection issues though, like because Tandberg came in and was absolutely brilliant, like absolutely fantastic. Like I was going to curse there, but then I was like, oh why? You know, like Winberg was also good. As Winberg has been all season, had got an assist as well. But oh my God, Tandberg is just exceptional. You know, like maybe not today, obviously not today, but somewhere down the line we might have to have that conversation of, do we put England on the bench for Tandberg? Because you know, like Tandberg is just so much like faster, first to the ball, holding up play, you know, like freeing the runners, also scoring, you know, just doing everything, just complete forward striker, complete striker.
yeah,
So when Tandberg, it was like Spurs could not let up. Like Villa could not catch a break because the minute Spurs made substitutions, Tandberg came on, Winberg came
yeah,
on, and like even Gunning Williams almost scored. Like there was a ball that Gunning Williams put in, it missed the goal by a whisker, like literally a whisker on the side. And so you know, like even Artinen put in, like was all right. I didn't see much of Artinen, but whatever I saw, it was all right. And of course, experienced player as well. So you know, like that level of bench strength where Villa just could not breathe, I think
yeah.
that really made a difference. Like I thought their forwards were not, like Ebony Salmon has been in bad form for like 2 months now, and
Yeah.
like Maltby is a kid. So like
Hmm.
Lucia Kendall was really the only like substitute they brought on that could possibly like really affect the game.
Yeah, I
So
think I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So obviously Villa are struggling a little bit with injuries, but of course I feel like, in a game like this, like there is just no excuse
yeah.
for conceding 7 goals. And I think Arroyo said as much. He said it was just like not fun
Yeah,
overall.
yeah. No,
She said it was cruel.
if you're struggling with
Uh,
injuries, put up a look. Do what Everton are doing. No, just put up a defensive setup and sit there. Like once you've gone 4 goals down, that at that point you have to stop trying to score. Nah.
Yeah, so that's like, I mean, we discussed this in the previous, in one of our previous episodes as well. But where do you think Natalia Arroyo stands now after this?
I'll be honest. When the game was happening and we scored the sixth goal, I might have texted people sacked in the morning. Um, but
Yeah,
you know, now that I'm calm, or as calm as I can be about this game, uh, I will say that maybe just see out the season, because there's no like threat of Villa being like relegated or anything like that, and Villa don't really have that much to play for. So just I think they should see out the end of the season with Arroyo, and unless the performances dramatically improve, maybe it's time to look elsewhere. I know that people are like, sack her now, and look at like, because her press conference was also like she did not know what hit her, you know, where she was like Spurs are being so cruel, and you know, like all of these things. So I was just like, you know, that's not the way a manager that has knows what's happening around her would respond. I think she was also like it was almost whimsy, you know.
yeah. I mean, I think it's just, but that's the thing, right? I feel like it's also just one of those games.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you look back to the City Chelsea game as well, um, I feel like Sonia said stuff that she normally wouldn't say because she's just not used to seeing her team getting dunked on that way.
Yeah.
It is really hard. So I get where she's coming from to some extent. But for me, I feel a bit sympathetic to Arroyo
Yeah.
because I feel like the players, first of all, Villa squad is not a good squad.
Yeah.
Okay, like in the summer, this is like a team that should ideally have like a lot of players moving out, and they should have
Yeah.
some good signings in summer.
Yeah.
So let's start with that. The squad she has to work with is not great. But also the injuries,
Yeah.
especially like obviously Kendall comes on in between in this game, but I feel like losing Kendall, losing Daly, and losing Missy Bokerns,
I think
I
it's more
feel
to
like
that. I also think it's losing your goalkeeper is a huge blow. Like I think because your defensive structure, not that Roebuck did a bad job, but your defensive structure depends on like the goalkeeper's direction. So I think that was the biggest blow.
right, yeah, I actually did not notice that D'Angelo was out. Like I thought Roebuck that was just a tactical
No,
choice,
I think
but
D'Angelo has a
yeah,
concussion. No, I think
yeah, she
last game.
always has a concussion, weirdly enough. Anyway, but yeah, I mean that again, yeah, that's so I feel like there's a lot happening there. But again, it's not a good enough excuse for like conceding 7 goals.
Yeah.
But Ash, okay, let's talk wrap it up maybe by just like talking about Spurs a little bit, like in terms of where you see this team going forward, like what your expectations are for
Yeah,
the rest of
yeah.
the season. And
I'm
also today, just one
yeah.
second, today I remembered that you are basically going to lose your centre back pairing to the Asia Cup.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that.
So I'm not too worried about that because, like, I'll be honest, I'm tempering my expectations. I don't expect us to beat Arsenal and like make it to the Champions League spots or anything like that. Like, we are not like United's on 34 and Chelsea's on 33. We are on 29. There's no way we're catching up to that, you know? So I just feel like I need to temper my expectations, and given that I need to temper my expectations and the fact that LCL are like 10 points below us, I feel like even if we lose a game here and there because Koga and Hunt are out, and I genuinely believe like Molly Bartrip, for example, I believe will be like, I don't think Hunt offers anything that Molly Bartrip cannot offer. Like, I'll be
Right.
honest. I think the biggest miss will be Koga. Koga will be very dearly missed. But I think it's an opportunity as well. And, we have a few incoming players coming back. It'd be nice to see Wick replaced by Ella Morris when she comes back, because I feel like that's
Hmm.
another young, exciting player.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing within this setup going forward. So yeah, so there's, as much as there is things to worry about, there's things to look forward to as well. So I'm not like so upset about it.
Yeah, I mean, I just noticed that there's a 10-point gap between. So you are like in a really good place to just finish like as best of the rest.
Yeah,
Uh,
we are best of the rest. Like, I
yeah,
think there's
yeah,
no
yeah,
doubt.
absolutely. But like that said, there is, I mean, the upcoming game that Spurs have is against London City Lionesses in the FA Cup. Of course, we'll do a proper preview for it, but initial gut feeling, how are you feeling?
I'll be honest, I am slightly worried about this game because LCL have seen some return to form. Like, Eder Maestre suddenly has them playing slightly better. I thought they
Hmm.
put up somewhat of a fight against United, and so that does worry me. And they are also a team that plays on transitions really well, and
Hmm.
we are a team that sucks defending our transitions, clearly, with the 3 goals we conceded in a 7-3. But so I'm a little bit worried about it, but you know what, it's fine. Like, I at this point, I'm not even going to think about the future. I'm just so happy to see, like, can you see those, how beautiful all those goals were? Like, how can you not
Yeah, they were.
smile?
I mean, some of them, like, I mean, I feel like this is like the attacking fluidity that, like, we saw from Spurs in that game was just like next level. I feel
Yeah,
like it's the
did you see
best
Hamano?
attack.
Like, Hamano, she missed 2 sitters, okay, and I was just like angry at Hamano because everyone else was scoring, and I was like, why is Hamano not scoring? Because Hamano was so good in the game, and I needed like Hamano to have some GA to show that Hamano was good in the game, and and then lo and behold, Hamano does this whole run and then comes from the side and puts it in
Yeah,
from this weird angle. Okay, I was
I
like,
know.
what a beauty goal. Okay,
And it's such a nice finish because like she obviously takes it around the keeper,
yeah,
but then she also places in between two defenders
yeah,
who are like going for a goal line clearance. It was a lovely finish.
yeah. So
Well done.
I'm very, very happy with how beautiful our goals were. And so I could not care less what's happening in the future.
Yeah, and Kirsty Hansen is well, it's not really a golden boot race, but she
Yeah.
is like the second highest goal
Yeah,
scorer in
good
the
for
league
her. I
for
mean,
whatever that is worth.
she's been doing it herself, carrying the
Yeah,
team. I'm happy for her.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, that unless you have something to add, Kai, that brings us to the end of this episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. I forgot to say it at the starting of the episode. So you make sure you do that and comment below about how excited you are. The Spurs are going to join be part of the best and not the rest next season. Bye bye.
Okay.